been espresso to astonish the colored population?
Oui, Monsieur Zeke. Je ne comprends pas what he say.
Tell you what, Missy, I'm extraordinarily glad to find this respectable life situation. Now, as you made the acquaintance of this here family, and you had a supernumerary advantage of me, seeing I only received my appointment this morning, I was to know publicated opinion privately expressed to domestic servant.
You mean what sort of species, what sort of person are Monsieur and Madame Tiffany? Ah, Monsieur is not the same thing as Madame, not at all.
Well, I suppose they ain't all together.
Monsieur is a man of business. Madame is a lady of fashion. Monsieur makes the money, Madame spends it. Monsieur nobody at all, Madame everybody all together. You see, Monsieur, see, the money is all that is necessary to make one a lady of fashion. It is quite another thing in noble France.
Very Lucifer explanation. Well, now I'm disposed of the head of the family. Who come next?
Then there is Mademoiselle Seraphina. Mademoiselle is not one proper person, not at all. Mademoiselle is one coquette. That is not so modern about that. The ladies there do not learn coquetries until they get what has bomb.
I tell you what, Missy, I just reprobate that city altogether.
Wait, Monsieur, see, I not tell you all the family is yet. Then there is Madame's sister, Mademoiselle Prudence, one very bizarre person. And then there is Mademoiselle Gertrude, but she is nobody at all. She only teaches Mademoiselle Seraphina la musique.
Well now, Missy, what's your own special functions?
Je ne comprends, Monsieur Zeke.
Then I'll amplify. What's the nature of your exclusive services?
Ah, oui, je comprends, Monsieur Zeke. I am Madame's femme de chambre, her lady's maid, Monsieur Zeke. It is me that to teach Madame the mode de Paris, and Madame sets the fashion for all New York. So you see, Monsieur Zeke, that is me, my man, that sets the fashion for all the American beau monde.
Yeah. I have the idea by the heel. Well now, perhaps you can justify my officials.
What will you do? Ah, much things. You must tend the door, and you must wait on the table. You must drive the carriage, you must rub down the horses. You must do the errands. You must take care of the flowers. You must carry the water. You must help cook the dinner. You must help wash the dishes. And then you must remember to do everything that I tell you to do.
And that all?
Not that I can think of right now. Today is Madame's day of Reformation. So make sure you do run fast when the bell do ring.
Run! If it wasn't for these superfluous trimmings, I tell you what, Missy, I'd run.
Oh, it is Madame. You better go, Monsieur Zeke.
Look ahead, Master Zeke. Isn't this open rich?
Is everything in order, Millinette? Ah, very elegant. Very elegant indeed. There's a Jimmy's cool look about the furniture. And air of fashion and gentility that is perfectly bewitching. Is there not, Millinette?
Oh, oui, Madame.
But where's Miss Seraphina? It is 12 o'clock. Our visitors will be pouring in and she has not made her appearance. But then I hear that nothing is more fashionable than to keep people waiting. None but vulgar persons pay any attention to punctuality. Is this not so, Millinette?
Quite comme il faut. The grand person always to make the little person wait.
This mode of receiving visitors only upon one specified day of the week is a most convenient custom. For it saves the trouble of keeping the house continually in order and of being always fresh. I flatter myself that I was the first to introduce it to most New Yorkie light. You are sure that it's strictly Parisian mode, Millinette?
Oh, oui, Madame. Entirely in the mode de Paris.
This girl is put her weight in gold. Millinette, how do you say armchair in French?
For tout, Madame. madame.
Faux tool. It has a foreign and an out-of-the-way sound that is perfectly charming. It's so genteel. There's something about our American words decidedly vulgar. Bow tool. How refined. Bow tool. Armchair. What a difference.
Madame had one charmant pronunciation. Bow tool. Charmant, madame.
Do you think so, Millinette? Well, I believe I have. But a woman of fashion and of refinement can always accommodate herself to anything foreign. And a week's study of that invaluable work, French without a master, has made me quite at home in the court language of Europe. But where is the new valet? I am rather sorry he is black. But to obtain a white American for a domestic is almost impossible, and they call this a free country. What did you say was the name of this new servant, Millinette?
Did you say his name is Monsieur Zeke, madame?
Ezekiel, I suppose. Zeke. Dear me, such a vulgar name will compromise the dignity of the whole family. Can you not suggest something more aristocratic than that? Something French?
Oh, oui, madame. Adolf is one very fine name.
Adolf. Charming. Ring the bell, Millinette. I'll change his name besides. Give it to me, Rutter. Your name, I hear, is Ezekiel. I consider that too plebeian an appellation to be uttered in my presence. In the future, you are called Adolf. But don't reply. Never interrupt me when I'm speaking. Adolf, has my guest arrived? I desire that you inquire in your each, and then announce it in a loud, clear tone. That is the fashion in Paris.
Consider it Augustus, silence!
Your business is to obey and not to talk.
Done, Mrs.
Adolf, place that foul tool behind me.
I haven't got that far in the dictionary yet. No matter. A genus gets learned by nature.
Where have you lived not to know that foul tool is the French for armchair? What ignorance! Leave the room this instant.
Down to the effects of not having a liberal education.
I wonder if any fun was around. So I knew they hadn't. There's Betsy all alone.
Said Betsy, Prudence. How many times have I desired you to call me Elizabeth? Betsy, it's the height of vulgarity.
Oh, I forgot. Dear me, how spruce we feel here, to be sure. Everything in first-rate style and habit. Elizabeth, I mean. Who would have thought we were in Canal Street making a flashy haskins?
What do you mean? Millinette, leave the room.
Oui, madame.
But I always predicted it. I always said you were destined to rise above your station.
Prudence, how many times have I told you?
No, Betsy, it was I who told you. Remember when we used to buy our silks and ribbons of Mr. and Tiffany? Talking Tony, you know we used to call him. And when you put on the finest bonnet in our shops to his, and you stayed so long, smiling and chatting, I always told you something would come of it. And hasn't it?
Millinette, send for Seraphina instantly. Leave the room.
Oui, madame. So this lady of fashion was one Millinette? Ah, what a country for the marchand de la mode. I shall send for all my relations on the next packet.
Prudence, never let me hear you mention this subject again. Forget what we have been. It is enough to remember that we are of the upper 10,000. Oh, how bewitchingly you look, my dear. Does Millinette say that that headdress is strictly Parisian? Oh yes, Mamma, all the rage. They call it a lady's tarpaulin, and it is eligible. There is Count Jolimaitre, decidedly the most fashionable foreigner in town, and so refined, so much accustomed to associate with the first nobility in his own country that he can hardly tolerate the vulgarity of Americans in general. You may devote yourself to him. Mrs. Thackeray is dying to become acquainted with him. But if she or her daughter should happen to drop in, be sure you don't introduce them to the Count. It is not the fashion to introduce in Paris. Millinette told me so.
Mr. T. Tennyson Twinkle.
Jola.
Oh, I must be running away.
Mr. T. Tennyson Twinkle, a very literary young man, and a sweet poet. He's all the rage to patronize poets. Quick, Seraphina, hand me that magazine. Mr. Twinkle writes for him.
Look at Betsy, trying to make out that reading without her glasses. There you are, Betsy. I knew you were going to ask for them. They're such a blessing when one is growing old.
What do you mean, Prudence? A woman of fashion never grows old. Ages out of fashion. Oh.
What a delightful thing to be fashionable.
There, Seraphina. The sun is self-bursting. Well, you ages late in the shine right now.
Oh, Mr. Twinkle, there is no such thing as answering you.
Ah, the new monthly Vernal Galaxy. Reading my verses, but all that's charming. Sensible woman, I won't interrupt her.
Mr. Twinkle, is that you? I was perfectly abamé at the perusal of your very distinguished verses.
I am overwhelmed, madam. Pardon me. They do read entirely, and you must take into consideration the rapidity at which one composes. 4.5 minutes by the stopwatch. The true test of a poet is the velocity at which he composes. They look pretty, and they read tolerably. Very tolerably. Quite tolerably. Especially the first verse. To Seraphina.
Oh, Mr. Twinkle.
Around.
How touching! Really, Mr. Twinkle, quite tender.
Around.
Oh, I must tell you, Mr. Twinkle, I heard the other day that poets were the aristocrats of literature. That's one reason why I like them, for I don't have all aristocracy.
How flattering, madam. Now pray, lend me your ears. Around my heart thou weavest.
Oh, that is such a sweet commencement, Mr. Twinkle.
I wish you wouldn't interrupt me. Around my heart thou weavest.
Beautiful. But excuse me one moment while I say a word to Seraphina. Don't be too affable, my dear. Poets are very ornamental attention to the drawing room, but they're always as poor as their own verses. They don't make eligible husbands.
Confound their interruptions. Now, madam, if you don't pay the utmost attention, you will not get the full idea. Now you shall hear it to the end. Around my heart thou weavest.
Mr. Augustus Hall. Very misty looking young gentleman.
Show him up, Adolf.
This is too much.
Exquisite verses, Mr. Twinkle.
Fair Seraphina, thy smile transports me to the summit of Mount Olympus.
Then I must frown, for I would not send you so far away.
Enchantress, it is all over, sir.
Mr. Fogg belongs to one of our oldest families. To be sure, he's the most difficult person in the world to entertain, for he never takes the trouble to talk and never notices anything or anybody. But then I hear that nothing is considered more vulgar than to betray any emotion or to render oneself agreeable.
This is Miss Seraphina Rose. How do you do?
Mr. Fogg, how do you do? Fine weather, delightful, isn't it?
Quite indifferent to weather, madam.
Into the opera, Mr. Fogg. I hear that the Beaumont make their debuts there every evening.
I consider operas a bore.
Mr. Fogg, you must hear Mr. Twinkle's verses.
I am indifferent to verses, Miss Seraphina.
But Mr. Twinkle's verses are about me.
Now pay attention, Fogg. Around my heart, thou weavest.
Mister! No. He say he ain't no mister.
Around my heart, thou weavest a spell whose magic I can never tell.
Speak in a loud, clear tone, Adolf.
Terrible.
Mister Count Jolimaitre.
Good gracious! The Count! Zeke! Kill me! Dear me, what a mistake! Set that chair out of the way. Put the table back. Seraphina, my dear, are you all in order? Dear me, your dress is so tumbled. Adolf, admit him. Now, Seraphina, my dear, remember now what I told you about the Count? He is a man of the highest. Of course, I'm so flurried. And nothing is so genteel as agitation. What will the Count think? Mr. Twinkle, pray, stand out of the way. Seraphina, my dear, place yourself on my right. Mr. Fogg, the conservatory. Beautiful flowers. Pray, amuse yourself in the conservatory.
I am indifferent to conservatories, madam.
Dear me, the man stands right in the way. Just for the Count must make his entree. Mr. Fogg, pray. Oh, Count, this unexpected honor.
Count this inexpressible pleasure.
Thank you, won't mention it, madam. Miss Seraphina, you're most devoted.
What condescension! Count, may I take the liberty to introduce... Good gracious, I forgot. Count, I was just about to remark that we never introduce in America. All our fashions are foreign, Count.
Excuse me. Our fashions have grown antediluvian before you Americans discover their existence. You are lamentably behind the age. Lamentably. Upon honor, a foreigner of refinement finds great difficulty existing in this provincial atmosphere.
How dreadful, Count. I am very much concerned if there's anything I can do, Count.
Or I count to render your situation less deplorable.
I find but one redeeming charm in America. The superlative loveliness of the feminine portion of creation. And the wealth of their larger powers.
How flattering. Count, I'm afraid you'll turn the head of my simple girl here. She's a perfect child of nature, Count.
Very possibly. For though you American women are quite charming, there's a good deal of native rust to roll off.
Rust? Good gracious, Count. Where do you find any rust?
How very sophisticated.
Count, pray excuse me. Although a lady of large fortune, and one Count, who can boast of the highest connections, I blush to confess that I have never traveled. While you, Count, I presume are at home in all the courts of Europe.
Courts? Oh yes, madam. I believe I'm pretty well known in the courts of Europe. Police courts. In a word, madam, I had enough of civilized life. Wanted a sight of barbarous countries and customs. Had my choice between the Sandwich Islands and New York. Chose New York.
How complimentary to our country. And Count, I have no doubt that you speak every conceivable language. You talk English like a native.
What? Like a native? Oh yes, I am something of an Englishman. Passed 1 year and 8 months with the Duke of Wellington, 6 months with the Count d'Orsay, 2.5 with Lord Brougham. Knew them all more intimately than their closest friends. No heroes to me, having to seek it from me, I assure you, especially if they weren't.
Think of that, my dear. Lord Wellington and Duke Brougham.
And just imagine Mamma, the Count d'Orsay. I am wild to meet the Count d'Orsay.
Oh, a mere man can deliver. Very literally Would you believe it, madam, at the last dinner given at Duke knows who, there was an individual present who wore a black cravat and took soup twice.
How shocking! The sight of him would have spoiled my appetite. Think of what a great man he must be to despise lords and counts in that way. I must leave them together. Mr. Twinkle, your arm. I have some really very boring exotics to show you.
I fly at her command. I wish all her exotics were blooming in their native soil.
Mr. Bob, will you accompany us? My conservatory is well worth your visit. It costs an immense sum of money.
I consider flowers a bore, madam.
I shall take no refusal. Conservatories are all the rage. I could not exist without mine. Let me show you. Let me show you.
America, then, holds no charms for you, Count?
Excuse me, some exceptions. How do you, for instance, particularly charming? I can't say I admire your country, though. If you'd ever breathed the exhilarating air of Paris, ate creams at Tortoni's, dined at the Cafe Royal, or if you'd ever lived in London, felt at home at St. James's, and every afternoon driven a couple of lords and the Duchess from Hyde Park, you would find America where you have no kings, queens, lords nor ladies. Insupportable.
Not while there was a Count in it.
Where's the missus?
Whom do you come to announce, Adolf?
He said he wouldn't trust me with his... Then, up for the stick, and I cuts mine.
One of Mr. Tiffany's older acquaintances. I shall die with shame. Adolf, inform him that I am not at home. My nerves are so shattered. I'm ready to sink. Mr. Twinkle, that bow to you, please.
What? What do you wish, madam?
Ignorance of these Americans. Count, may I trouble you? That bow tool, if you please.
She's not talking English. Nor French. I suppose it's American.
Not at home.
No, sir. Mrs. says she not at home.
I'm a great idiot. Where's this woman that's not at home in her own house? I'd be shot if I wonder at it. Shouldn't think she would ever feel at home in such a showbox as this.
What a plebeian-looking old farmer. I wonder who he is. Sir, what do you mean, sir, by this audacious conduct? How dare you intrude yourself into my parlor? Do you know who I am, sir? You are in the presence of Mrs. Tiffany, sir.
Anthony's wife, eh? Oh, I should have known that, for I see you making a point to carry half your husband's shopping on your back. That's no matter. That's being a good helpmate, for he carried the whole of it upon a packman on his back once. Now you bear a share.
How dare you, you impertinent, audacious, ignorant old man! It's all an invention. You are talking about somebody else. What will the Count think?
Why, I thought folks had better manners in the city. After me coming all the way from Augustus to see you and yours. First, I'm very greeted by a grain servant, tricked out in scarlet.
Let me tell you, sir, that regimentals are all the fashion.
The fashion, are they? To make men wear the badge of servitude in a free country? That's the fashion, is it? Hurrah for Republican simplicity. But I will venture to say now you have your own coat of arms as well.
Certainly, sir. You can see it on the panels of my voiture.
Oh, no need for that. I know where your stretching must be. A bandbox rampant with the bonnet couchant and feathers pass-on. That shows both houses united.
Sir, you are most profoundly ignorant. What do you mean by this insolence, sir? How shall I get rid of him?
Hopefully it's not Gertrude.
Sir, I'll have you know that. Seraphina, my dear, walk with these gentlemen into the conservatory. Count, pray do allowances for the errors of this rustic. I do assure you, Count.
Count? She calls that critter with a shoe brush over his mouth Count?
say you belonged, my friend? Dug out of the ruins of Pompeii, eh?
I come from a country in which we rejoice to find that you are a foreigner.
What a barbarian. He doesn't see the honor I'm doing his country. Pray, is it one of the aboriginal inhabitants of the soil? To a tribe of Indians does he belong, the Pawnee of the Chocolate Tribe? Does he carry a tomahawk?
Sounds quite as useful, you see that?
Oh, dear, Millinette! 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 A glass of water. Sir, I am shocked at your plebeian conduct. This is a gentleman of the highest standing, sir. He is a count, sir. What is the matter? What is the matter?
Nothing, madam.
What's the matter? Have you never seen a live count before? I dare say he's tame. Your mistress there leads him up by the ears.
This is too much. Millinette, send for Mr. Tiffany instantly.
He has just come in, madam.
My old friend, where is he? Take me to him. I'd like to have one more hearty shake with the hand with him.
Count, honor another by joining my daughter in the conservatory. I will return immediately.
What is Jezebel? These women always play the very devil with him, man. I mean, I can't believe that such a damn veiled goods as that was for our little Antony.
This way, sir. Salvo's plate.
Salvo's plate? We'll see what fashion is done for.
Proceed, Mr. Snobson.
Sir, you have a fine house, fine carriage, feet off the bed of land, everything first rate.
Well, sir?
My salary.
It's been raised 3 times within the past year.
Still is insufficient for the necessities of an honest man. Pardon me, an honest man, Mr. Tiffany.
What a weapon he has made of that word. Very well. Another 100 shall be added. Does that content you?
There is another subject which we have spoken of before. Your daughter, Mr. Tiffany. What's the reason you can't let the folks back home know that to be the man?
Bill, must the only seal upon this scoundrel's lips be placed there by the hand of my daughter? Very well, sir. Shall be as you desire.
And Mrs. Tiffany will be informed of your resolution?
Yes.
That's the ticket. The credit can sit, sir.
How low I have bowed to this insolent rascal. To rise himself, he stands upon me in his shoulders, and unless I can shake him off, he must crush me.
Here I am, Nancy, man. I told you I'd pay you a visit in your money-making chambers. It looks as dismal in here as a Southern States prison.
Ha ha ha. You are so facetious. Ha ha ha.
Well, for the life of me, I can't see what's so amusing about that. You think the state's prison begging uncomfortable lodgings. You laugh, man, as though you fancied yourself already there.
Ha ha ha.
What is the meaning of that ill-sounding laugh that has nothing of a laugh about it? This fashion worship has made heathens and hypocrites of you all. Deception is your household god. Man laughs as if you're crying, and cries as if you're laughing in his sleep. Nothing is what it appears to be. I've been in your house in 3 days, and already I've heard more lies than were ever been in a presidential election. First, your fine lady of a wife sends me word that she's not at home. I come upstairs and she takes good care that I shall not be at home, tries to turn me out of doors. Then you come in and whisper who knows what in your wife's ear, and the tables are turned on a tangent. Madame curtsies, says she's delighted to see me, and orders her grinning servant to show me to her room.
We were exceedingly happy to welcome you as our guest.
Happy? You happy? Ah, Antony. Those crisscross furrows and that hatch base of yours tell quite another story. It's been quite a long time since you were happy at anything. You look as though you've melted down your flesh into dollars and mortgaged your soul in the bargain. Your warm heart's grown cold over your ledgers. Your light heart's made heavy with calculation. You've made your house a fashionable museum and your counting house a penitentiary where there's no niche for you. You spend so much time ciphering in one that you find yourself at last the very cipher in the other. Look at me, man. 72 last August. Strong as hickory and every whit as sound.
I take the greatest pleasure in remarking your superiority, sir.
Bah! No man takes pleasure in remarking the superiority of another. Why can't you tell the truth, man? But it's not fashion, I suppose. I have not seen one frank, straightforward face since... No, I can't say that either. The lying is catching. There's that girl Gertrude who's trying to teach her daughter music. But Gertrude is bred in the country.
My wife and daughter find her very useful.
Useful? Well, you have queer notions of use. Well, come, cheer up, man. I'd rather see one of your old smiles than know that you're realized another 1,000. Here you are making money on the true American high-pressure system. Better go slow and sure. The more steam, the more danger the boilers bursting. All sound, I hope nothing rotten with the board?
Oh, sound. Quite sound.
Well, that's pleasant, although you sure don't seem very pleasant about it.
My friend, although I am salad, may I say perfectly salad, the fact is that you, yes, you can be of some assistance to me.
That's the fact, is it? Well, I'm glad to jump on one fact at last. Hey, what's that? Another one of those ill-sounding city laughs? Who's that perched upon the stool of repentance, eh, Anthony? The old boy has missed his text there. That's the stool of repentance.
He's my clerk, my confidential clerk.
Confidential? Well, he looks for all the world to me like a spy. Most inquisitorial hangdog face. Makes my blood run cold to look at him. Let's talk for a minute for this fellow to give us the benefit of his opinion. Nancy, next time you choose a confidential clerk, choose one who carries his credentials on his face. Those in his pocket are worth going with that. The old prig has got a tin, or Tiff would never be so civil. I'm sure Tiff will work every time. All the better for me. Now we'll go make up to Seraphina. The old woman needn't try to knock me down with any of her French mediator. 6 months from today, if I ain't driving my footman tandem down Broadway, and as fashionable as Miss Tiffany herself, then I ain't the chump I thought I was. That's all. Bless me, 11 o'clock and I haven't had my julep yet. Snobson, I'm ashamed of you.
What figured you lead a sad life here, Miss Gertrude?
What, amongst the flowers?
No, but amongst of this thorns, with which Miss Tiffany surrounds you, the tempest, which are tempered phrases.
You never harm me. Flower and herbs are excellent too. I think Prudence will read and bend until the storm has swept over.
Admirable philosophy, but still, it must be uncongenial to you, accustomed to the pleasant companionship of your kind friends in Geneva. Surely you must regret this course,
Do you think so? Could you suppose that I could prefer a ramble in the woods to a promenade on Broadway? A wreath of scented wildflowers to a bouquet of these sickly exotics? The odor of a new-mown hay to the heated air of this crowded conservatory? Or can you suppose that I could prefer the quiet conversation of my Geneva friends more than the edifying chit-chat of fashionable drawing room? But I see you think me totally destitute of taste.
You have a merry spirit to jest with such grievances.
I have my mania, as some wise person declares all mankind have, and mine is a love of independence. In Geneva, my wants were supplied by two kind-hearted ladies, upon whom I know not that I have any claim. I had abilities, and desired to use them. I came here at my own request, for here I am no longer dependent. Voila tout, as Mrs. Tiffany would say.
Believe me, I appreciate all the confidence you repose in me.
Confidence? Truly, Colonel Howard, the confidence is entirely on your part in supposing that I confide that which I have no reason to conceal. I think I informed you that Mrs. Tiffany only receives visitors after reception day. She is therefore not prepared to see Zeke. Oh, I beg his pardon. Adolf made some mistake in admitting you.
Gertrude, it is not Mrs. Tiffany nor Miss Tiffany who I came to see. It was...
Oh, the conservatory, perhaps. I will leave you to examine the flowers at leisure.
Gertrude, listen to me. I only dare give utterance what is upon my lips. Gertrude!
Colonel Howard.
Gertrude, I must...
Yes, indeed you must. Must leave me. I think I hear somebody coming. Mrs. Tiffany would not be well pleased to find you here. Pray leave me. That door will lead you into the street.
say. That was a most delight to hear. Truly man is strange, but woman is quite as incomprehensible.
There she is, the bewitching little creature. Mrs. Tiffany and her daughter are out of earshot. I caught a glimpse of their feathers drifting down Broadway not 10 minutes ago. Just the opportunity I've been looking for. Now, for an engagement with this captivating Prudence. Upon honor, I'm almost afraid she won't resist a count long enough to give value to the contest. Bon appetit. Are you gathering roses for me?
The flowers here, sir, are carefully guarded with thorns. If you have the right to gather, pluck for yourself.
Sharp as ever, little Gertrude. But now that we are alone, cast off this frigidity and be at your ease.
Permit me to be alone, sir, that I may be at my ease.
Very good, Hanko. Well said. But as the old girl may find her way back before long, we may as well come to particulars at once. I love you, but that you know already. Before long, I shall make Mademoiselle Seraphina my wife. And you, of course, shall remain in the family.
Sir!
Upon honor you shall. In France, we arrange these little matters without difficulty.
I am an American. Your conduct proves that you are not one.
Don't run away my immaculate petite American. You quite overlooked my condescension. The difference in our stations. You, a species of upper servant, an orphan, no friends.
And therefore more entitled to the respect and protection of every true gentleman. Had you been one, you would not have insulted me.
My charming little orator. Patriotism and declamation become particular. I feel quite tempted to...
An American hickory switch?
Matter of fact. Sir, how dare you?
My stick has answered that question.
Oh, now I am quite safe.
Safe? Not a bit safer than before. All women would be safe if they knew how Bratcher became them. As for you, Mr. Count, what have you got to say for yourself? Come, speak up.
Sir, you don't understand these matters.
Not having had your experience, I don't believe I do understand.
A piece of pleasantry, a mere joke.
A mere joke, was it? Well, I'll show you a joke or two of that. I'll show you how we natives joke with a puppy who insults an honest girl.
What? You old ruffian, what do you mean? Let me go!
Oh, a piece of pleasantry, a mere joke. Very pleasant, isn't it?
Actually, Mr. Trueman, what has happened?
Oh, we have been joking.
My dear Count, I did not expect to find you here. How very kind of you.
Your Count here was showing his kindness in a very foreign manner. Too foreign, I think he found it to be relished by an unfashionable native. Madam, how do you deal with a puppy who insults an honest girl all the way of kindness? This Count of yours is importation of...
Dear madam, permit me to explain. It would be unbecoming, particularly unbecoming of you to pay any attention to this ignorant person. Anything that he says concerning a man of my standing, the truth is...
Yes, let us have the truth by all means, if it is only for the novelty's sake.
You see, madam, hoping to obtain a few moments' private conversation with Miss Seraphina, and knowing her passion for flowers, I found my way to your very tasteful and recherché conservatory. Here, I encountered this young person. She was inclined to be talkative, and I indulged her with a few commonplaces. What passed between us was mere harmless badinage on my part. You, madam, you so conversant with our foreign fashions. You are aware that when a man, a man is bound amongst noblemen.
I comprehend you perfectly. Our fitting meant, my dear Count.
Upon my honor, that's very obliging of her.
I am shocked. at the plebeian forwardness of this conceited girl.
Do you ever keep an account of the lies you tell in an hour?
Mr. Trueman, I blush for you.
Don't do that. You have no blushes to spare.
Being a man of rank, you are dressing, sir.
A rank villain, and a rich one he would be if he had as much gold as brass.
Pray pardon him, Count. He knows nothing of how Tom.
He's beneath my notice. I tell you what, old fellow. This sight of him quite discomposes me. Let us join your charming daughter in the conservatory. I can't do you the honor to shoot you, sir. A nobleman can't fight a commoner. Goodbye, old Trueman. I'm insensible to your insolence.
Don't be insensible of cow's-eyed in spite of your nobility. Gertrude, next time he practices any of his foreign fashions on you, you'll see how I wake up his sensibilities.
I do not know what I should have done without you, sir.
Oh, you know very well what you would have done. Never tell a lie, girl. When you open your mouth, let your heart speak. Never tell a lie, even for the sake of pleasing an old man. Let your face be looking back to your soul. Your heart is clocked, while the tongue beats out the hours. But the glass must be clean, and the clock true. Then there's no fear that the tongue should do its duty in one's head.
You are very good, sir.
That's as it may be. How my heart warms to her. And you have no mother, I hear.
Oh, no, sir. I wish I had.
So do I. Heaven knows, so do I. And you have no father?
No, sir. I often wish I had.
No, don't do that. Wish you had a mother, but never wish you had a father again. Perhaps the one you did have did not deserve such a child.
Seraphina's looking for you, Gertrude.
I will go to her. Mr. Trueman, you will not permit me to thank you, but you cannot prevent my gratitude.
Paul said Harvard's there. I'll give up looking after the truth.
What a nice old man he is, to be sure. I wish you would say something. Oh, don't mind me, Mr. Trueman.
Oh, don't worry. I wasn't minding you. No one seems to mind you much.
Very pretty flowers, ain't they? Gertrude takes care of them.
Ah, Gertrude. Now I suppose you can tell me who this Gertrude.
Which is Elopement? I'll tell you all about it. Now, Gertrude, she's in love with Mr. Twinkle. Oh, and he is in love with her. And Seraphina, she's in love with Count Jolly. What do you call it? Oh, but Count Jolly don't take to her at all. Colonel Howard, he's the man. He is desperate about her.
Colonel Howard? Why, you found in a newspaper. Howard, in love with that quintessence of affection? Howard's the only frank, open man I've met since I was telling my mind on the subject. And Gertrude, looking for happiness in a rhyming dictionary? The girl's a greater fool than I took her for.
So she is. You see, I know all about her. And what's more, I've always known about these things. I knew something was going to happen when you did. And what's more, I always know a married man from a bachelor. I knew right off that you are a bachelor.
You knew right off I was a bachelor, did you? You were sure? Quite sure? Then you felt wrong. A widower and a bachelor are not the same thing.
Oh, but it all comes to the same thing. Anyway, I knew you were a farmer right off.
Oh, I suppose you saw cabbages and green peas growing on my head?
No. But I know all about you. And I know you're getting married soon. For last night I dreamt I saw your funeral going all along the streets. And the mourners were dressed in white. And a funeral is a sure sign of a wedding, you know.
I can't say I know any such thing, you know.
Oh, there's no getting over it. It's bound to happen. For my part, I like farmers. And I know all about setting hens and turkeys and chickens and eggs and bees and all that kind of thing.
May I be shot of Mistress Newspaper as you're putting in advertising for herself. But I suppose that should consider you more recording, I suppose.
I've been west a little, but I never was in the county of Cattaraugus myself.
Oh, and I suppose you're taking fancy to go there?
Oh, perhaps I shouldn't object.
Oh, I see. Now pay attention to what I'm going to say, for it is of the utmost importance to yourself.
This is it. I know what he's going to say.
Next time you want to tie a man to your apron strings for life, choose one that don't come from the kind of cat or August, where greenhorns are scarce there and modest ones plenty.
Now, who would have thought he was going to say that? But I won't give him up. I won't give him up.
Totally and do not hate. Impossible for it to convince you of the necessity of keeping up appearances. There's a certain display which every woman of fashion is forced to make.
And pray, who made you a woman of fashion?
That's a vulgar question, Mr. Tiffany. All women of fashion.
In this land are self-constituted, like you, madame, and fashion is the cloak for more sins than charity ever covered. It was for fashion's sake that you purchased this expensive house. It was for fashion's sake that you ran me into debt. Every exorbitant upholsterers and extravagant furniture warehouse in the city. It was for fashion's sake that you built this ruinous conservatory, hired more servants than they have people to wait upon, and dressed your footmen like a harlequin.
Mr. Tiffany, you are thoroughly plebeian and insufferably American in your groveling ideas. And pray, what was the occasion of these very mal-apropos remarks? Merely because I requested a paltry $50 to purchase a new style of headdress, a video of an article just introduced in press.
Time was, Mrs. Tiffany, when you manufactured your own headdresses, took off their first gloss at public balls, and sold them to your shortest-sighted customers. But now you have grown so fashionable, forsooth, that you have forgotten how to speak your mother tongue.
Mr. Tiffany, nothing is more thoroughly plebeian, more aristocratic than any allusion to the past.
Why, my dear, I thought aristocrats lived principally upon the past and traded in this market with the bones of their ancestors for capital.
How vulgar, Mr. Tiffany.
Vary my sentiments with my locality as you change your manners with your dress?
Mr. Tiffany, I desire to purchase Count d'Orsay's Science of Etiquette and learn how to conduct yourself, especially before you appear at the grand ball, which I shall give on Friday.
Confound your balls, madame. They make footballs of my money while you dance away all that I am worth. Fine time to give a ball when you know I'm on the very brink of bankruptcy.
So much the greater reason that nobody should suspect your present circumstances. Just at this crisis, a ball is absolutely necessary to save your reputation. There's Miss Adolf Stashaway. She gave the most splendid fete of the season. And I hear, on very good authority, that her husband has not paid his baker's bill in 3 months. Then there was Mrs. Honeywood.
Gave a ball the night before her husband shot himself? Perhaps you wish to drive me to follow his example.
How great is Mr. Tiffany, how you talk. I beg you won't mention anything of the kind. I consider black the most unbecoming color. I'm sure I've done everything I could to gratify you, Mr. Tiffany. There is that vulgar old torment, Trueman, who gives one the lie 50 times a day. Haven't I been very civil with him?
Civil to his wealth, Mrs. Tiffany. I told you that he was a rich old farmer, an early friend of my father's, my own benefactor. I had reason to think he might be of some assistance to me in my present embarrassments. Your civility was bought, and like most of your purchases, is yet to be paid for.
And will be, no doubt. The condescension of a woman of fashion should command any price. Mr. Trueman is insupportably indecorous. He has insulted Count Jolimaitre in the most outrageous manner. The Count were not so deeply interested, so out of the way with Seraphina. I'm sure he would never honor us with his visits again.
So much the better. He shall never marry my daughter. I am convinced of that. Why, madame, I am told that there is a regular matrimonial stock company in Paris, which fits out indigent dandies for this purpose. How am I to know that he is not one of its creatures, come to increase its dividends by marrying a fortune?
Nonsense, Mr. Tiffany. The Count, the most fashionable young man in all New York, the intimate friend of all the dukes and lords of Europe. Not marry my daughter? Not permit Seraphina to become a countess? Mr. Tiffany, you are out of your senses.
That would not be very wonderful, my dear, considering how many years I have been united to you. Modern physicians pronounce lunacy infectious.
Mr. Tiffany, he is a man of fashion.
Fashion makes fools, but cannot feed them. By the by, if you are bent upon ruining me by this ball, I have a request to make, that you send an invitation to my confidential clerk, Mr. Snobson.
Mr. Snobson? Was there ever such a unique demand? Mr. Snobson would cut a pretty figure amongst my fashionable friends. I shall do no such thing.
Then, madame, the ball shall not take place. Have I not told you that I am in the power of this man, that there are circumstances which you cannot comprehend, which it is happy for you that you do not know, but renders it essential that you be civil to him, not you only, but Seraphina also? He is a better match for her than your foreign favorite.
A match for Seraphina, indeed. Mr. Tiffany, you are determined to make a foul pass.
Mr. Snobson intends calling this morning.
But Mr. Tiffany, it is not reception day. My drawing room are in the most terrible disorder.
Mr. Snobson is not particular. He must be admitted.
Mr. Snobson.
How do you do? How are you? This is Tiffany or Marc.
Bonjour. Comment val, porte val, Monsieur Snobson.
Oh, to be sure, very good at your fine day.
S'assoyez val, Monsieur Snobson.
I wonder what she's driving at. Right up to the fashionable lingo yet. What? Hey,
What ignorance.
I presume Mrs. Tiffany means you are to take a seat.
Exactly. Very obliging for her, so I will. No ceremony amongst friends, and likely to be closer, you understand. Okay, all correct. How is Seraphina this morning?
Miss Seraphina is not visible this morning.
Not visible? I suppose that's English for can't see her. Mr. Tiffany, what am I to understand by this deflocation, sir? I expect your word to be as good as your bond. Considerably better, sir. No humbug about it, sir.
Have patience, Mr. Snobson. Zeke, desire my daughter to come here instantly.
Adolf, I say Adolf.
Zeke!
Don't know any such Negro. Boss.
Zeke, do as I bid you instantly, or off with your livery and quit the house!
I saw suspicion.
Adolf! Adolf!
I brought the old boy to his bearings, though, didn't I? Pull that string and he's sure to work right. Don't make any stranger of me, Marc. I'm quite at home. If you have any odds offs to up around the house, I shan't miss you. I'll amuse myself with Seraphina when she comes. We'll get along quite closely together by ourselves.
Permit me to inform you, Mr. Snobson, that a French mother never leaves her daughter alone with a young man. She knows your sex too well for that.
Very disobliging for her, but as we're not French.
You will get to learn, Mr. Snobson, that the American elite, the aristocracy, the held-on, as a matter of conscience, scrupulously follow the foreign fashions.
Not with, except for when they are foreign in their interests. For instance, there you are. Ma said you weren't visible this morning. Managed to get a peep at her, didn't I, Miss Tiffany?
I heard you were here, Mr. Snobson, and came without even arranging my toilette. I hope you will excuse my negligence.
Of everything but me, miss.
You shall never have to ask my pardon for that, Mr. Snobson.
Seraphina, child, really.
Walk this way, madame, if you please. You see that your neighbors are so it takes a weight off mine.
But Mr. Tiffany is highly improper and not at all distinguished. Oh dear, Seraphina, want to change dress? No, that's not my wife. Adolf, and Megan. Mr. Snobson, out of the way, will you? Mr. Tiffany, what are you doing home at this hour?
That's the genuine article of a gentleman.
My dear Count, I'm overjoyed at the very sight of you.
Flattered myself you'd be glad to see me. Knew it was not your jour de reception.
But for you, Count, all days.
Ah, Miss Tiffany, how my honor you're looking beautiful this morning.
Oh, Count, flattery from you.
What's that you say?
But what envy requires?
You're worthy papa, I believe. Sir, you're most obedient.
Introduce me, will you? I've never known a Count before in my whole life. What a strange looking creature.
Mr. Snobson! It is not the fashion to introduce in Paris.
But Mom, we're American. She thinks she's somewhere else than where she is. She wants to make an alibi.
Count, I hope that we shall have the pleasure of seeing you on Friday evening.
Really, madam, my invitations, my engagements, so numerous I can hardly speak for myself. And you Americans take offense so easily.
But Count, everybody expects you at a ball. You are the principal attraction.
Count, you must come.
Since you insist, there's no resisting you, Miss Tiffany.
I'm so thankful. How can I repay your condescension? Mr. Snobson, pray walk this way. I have such a cactus in full bloom. Remarkable flower. Mr. Tiffany, pray come here. I have something particular to say.
Why, my dear, I thought it was highly improper to leave a young girl with those men.
Oh, the Count. That's different.
I suppose you mean there's nothing of the man about her.
Adolf, tell me, monsieur. Madame, I bring this scarf for mademoiselle.
Very well, Millinette. You know it is proper for her to wear.
Mademoiselle, mettez-moi. Mademoiselle, stay tranquille for a moment. And I speak with you today, or I tell all. You'll find me at the bottom of the stairs when you go up. Prends garde.
What is that you say, Millinette?
Oh, this scarf to make you look so very beautiful, mademoiselle. Oh, she was so near me.
Not a moment to lose. Miss Tiffany, I have an unpleasant, particularly unpleasant piece of intelligence. You see, I just received a letter from the Earl of Ayrshire. The truth is, thank you for mentioning it, the Earl's daughter has distinguished me by a tender penchant.
Oh, I understand, Count, and they wish you to return and marry the young lady. But surely you will not leave us.
If you bid me stay, I shouldn't have a conscience. I couldn't afford to tear myself away.
Oh, Count.
Say but one word. Say you shouldn't mind being made a countess, and I'll break with the Earl tomorrow.
Count, the surprise! But surely you will not be leaving the country. We could not pass the time without you. Yes, Count, I do consent.
I thought she would. Enchanted, rapture, bliss, ecstasy, and all that sort of thing, but you understand. But it must be kept secret. It positively must. If rumor of our engagement were to get out, the delicacy of my situation, the Earl's daughter, you comprehend? It is even possible that our nuptials, my charming Miss Tiffany, our nuptials must take place in private.
Oh, but that is quite impossible.
But it's the very latest fashion abroad. The very latest. I will determine you. But I depend upon your secrecy.
Oh, yes, believe me.
Seraphina, have you a word to throw to a dog?
A word to think she had after wasting so many upon a mere puppy.
This is a brand new carriage on the road.
Show it up. I mean, very well, Adolf. Count, my daughter and I are about to take an airing on a new boy tour. Please honor us with your company.
Excuse me, madam. I have a most pressing engagement. A letter to write to the Earl of Ayrshire, who is at present residing in the Isle of Skye. I must bid you good morning.
Good morning, Count.
I'm quite at leisure, Mar. Nothing to do all afternoon. Books, clothes, leisure bound. Time for you.
Come, Seraphina, come.
Mar, I was saying, Mar, I have nothing to do all afternoon. Have I, Mr. Tiffany?
Seraphina, child, you shall remember. Mr. Snobson, bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Am I to be fobbed up with a bonsoir? I think I will swear.
If you will accompany me back to the counting house.
Don't count too much on me. I won't make any new accounts until these are settled. I'll go to jump in their carriage in spite of her fond swing.
Mr. Snobson, you'll jump into a harness as soon as you do. Mr. Snobson, Mr. Snobson.
To watch for him. If he not come, oh, but he will. Bien entendu, but he have a bon cœur.
Millinette, my dear, you seem a good-natured dog and like a bidding.
Fly, Rutter! Why are you fly from Paris? You leave me, and you not love me, and when you sick, and I take care of you, and when you had no one else as friend, what for did you fly from Paris?
Never allude to disagreeable subjects, Monica. I was forced by uncontrollable circumstances to fly to the land of liberty.
And what did you do with all the money I did give to you? The last sou, did I not give it to you?
Dare say you did. Wish you'd been better supplied. But don't ask questions here. Can't talk now. The next time we meet.
When shall we meet? You not deceive me, not anymore.
Deceive you? I'd rather deceive myself. I wish I could. I persuade myself. You were once more alive, washing linen in the Seine.
I tell you when we shall meet. On Friday night, Madame de Von Grand Ball, and you come sans doute. And then when the supper is served, the man can think of nothing else than the supper is served. You shall come here and find me here, and then you shall give me one grand explanation.
Friday night, while supper serving, I will be there. I will explain everything, my sudden departure from Paris, my countship, everything. But now let me go. If any of the family should find us here...
They might discover more than you think it advisable for them to know.
Hucky doodle! Miss Gertrude, nothing is more natural than the situation in which you find me.
Oh, I'm inclined to believe that, sir.
No. Upon my honor, that's not fair. Here is Millinette will bear witness to what I'm about to say.
Oh, I have not the slightest doubt of that, sir.
You see, Millinette happened to be lady's maid at the chateau the Duchess bespoke, and I happen to be a particular friend of the Duchess. Very particular, I assure you. Of course, I saw Millinette, and she saw me, didn't you, Millinette?
Oh, oui, I knew him very well.
It is a remarkable fact that being in correspondence with this very Earl, at this very Duchess, at the very time...
That is sufficient, sir. I'm already so well acquainted with your extraordinary talents for improvisation that I will not further tax your invention.
Oh, Mademoiselle Gertrude, have pity, do not betray us.
Silence, Millinette. My word has been doubted, the word of a nobleman. I shall inform my friend Mrs. Tiffany of this young person's audacity.
Sir, weapons alone can foil this villain. Sir, Count! Perhaps the least said about this matter, the better.
The least said. We won't say anything at all. She's coming around and couldn't resist me. Charming girl, Gertrude. I have...
Quoi? What is that you say?
Dear, sweet Millinette, hold your tongue, will you?
I will not. If you so do look out of your eyes at her again, I will tell all. I will.
Oh, I never could manage 2 women at once. Jealousy makes dear creatures so spiteful. The only valors of flight. Miss Gertrude, I must bid you good morning. Millinette, adieu.
But I have one more word to say to you. Stop! Stop!
Friday night, while supper is serving, he is to meet Millinette here and explain what? This man is an impostor. He's insulting me. His familiarity with Millinette, his whole conduct prove it. If I were to tell Mrs. Tiffany this, she would disbelieve me, and one word may place this so-called count on his guard. To convince Seraphina would be equally as difficult, and her rashness and infatuation may render her miserable for life. No, she shall be saved. I must devise some plan for opening their eyes. Truly, I cannot invent one. I shall be the first woman who is ever at a loss for a stratagem, especially to punish a villain or to shield a friend.
Tomorrow, then. Tomorrow, I may salute you as my bride, my countess.
Yes, tomorrow.
Send me to dance with me, miss. I'll take my pen and we'll walk around and see what's going on. Ah, here's a treat. Get my tomorrow's lunch done, too. What a nap I've had, to be sure. 11 o'clock is on the wire. Just by the time we country folk are all turned in, your grand turnout has hardly begun.
I was just coming to look at you, Mr. Trueman. I began to fancy you were paying a visit to Dreamland.
So I was, child, so I was. I saw a face like yours, but brighter, much brighter. There's a face, there's a smile for you, Anthony. Makes one feel there's something in the world worth living for, and yet. Do you remember a smile like that? Ah, I see you don't, but I do.
Good evening, Mr. Trueman.
That's it, man. Give me your whole hand. And offers me to tip some fingers. I know there's nothing more seeking beyond his fingers' ends.
I'm in such a fidget, lest that vulgar old fellow should disgrace us with some of his plebeian remarks. What is it to give a ball when one is forced to invite vulgar people? Dear me, Mr. Trueman, you are very late. Quite the fashion, I declare.
Between what is fashion, madam, agreement between certain persons to live without using their souls, substitute etiquette for virtue, decorum for purity and manners for morals, inflict the shame upon the works of their creator, and to spend all their rapture upon the works of tailors and dressmakers.
Dear me, Mr. Trueman, you're the most outre ideas. Quite rustic and deplorably American. But pray, walk this way.
Gertrude, no chance of speaking before in demand, you know.
Oh, I have no choice. I must be civil to him. What were you remarking, sir?
Miss Gertrude, charming girl, have you found it so difficult to speak to a woman before?
Yes, a very charming ball. Many beautiful faces here.
Only one. The fact is,
What could old Trueman have been that she fancied the puppy of a count? The pastry thrust upon the little figure of society.
Miss Gertrude, really, you don't understand. We danced the waltz with me.
me to dance with him too? A few days ago, she wouldn't have even bowed to him civilly. Well, Trueman have had reasons for what he said.
I don't like dancing on Friday. Something strange is always sure.
They're preparing the supper. Now, if I can only dispose of Millinette while I unmask this intimate pretender.
What's that she said? It's coming.
Excuse me, madam. I believe this is just the hour at which you ordered supper.
Well, what's that to you? So, you've been dancing with the Count. How dare you dance with a nobleman, you?
I will explain that half now and then. At present, I have something to propose, which I think will gratify you and please your guests. I have heard that at the most elegant balls in Paris, it is customary to station a servant at the door with a basket of flowers. A bouquet is then presented to every lady as she passes through. I prepared this basket a short time ago. As the company walk into supper, might not the flowers be distributed to advantage?
How distinguished! You are such a good creature, Gertrude. There, run Hanko Kristen yourself. You shall have the whole credit of the thing.
Caught in my own net. But, madam, I am so little of fashion. Millinette, being French herself, will do it with so much more grace. I'm sure Millinette...
So am I. She will do it 1,000 times better than you. Run it on.
But, madam, pray order Millinette not to leave her station till supper is ended. As the company pass out of the supper room, she may find that some of the ladies have been overlooked.
That is true. Very thoughtful of you, Gertrude. What a recherche idea! Here, Millinette, take this basket, place yourself there, and distribute these bouquets to the company as they pass into supper. But remember, not to stir from the spot until supper is over. It is the French fashion, you know, Millinette. I am delighted to be the first to introduce it. It'll be all the rage in the Mowatt.
Oh, this will ruin all. Madame, let me tell you, madame, that in France, in Paris, it is fashion to pass out bouquets when everyone first to come in, long before the supper. This would be outré, barbare, not at all la mode. When they first to come in, that is the mode de Paris.
Dear me, Millinette, what is the difference? Besides, I'd have you know that Americans always improve upon the French fashions. Take the basket, and let me see that you do it in the most unique and genteel manner.
Never mind the supper clock. Of course, you're indifferent to suppers.
Suppers? Oh no, sir, I'm not indifferent to suppers.
Here's a new discovery around the fashionable world. Fashion don't allow them heads or hearts, but do allow them stomachs. So it's not fashionable to feel, but it is fashionable to feed, eh, Anthony?
Zeke, go to the supper room instantly, whisper to Count Jolimaitre that all is ready, and he must keep his appointment without delay. Then, watch him, and as he passes out of the room, place yourself in front of Millinette in such a manner that the Count cannot see him, her, nor she him. Be sure that they do not see each other. Everything depends upon that.
Monsieur, consider that business brought to a scientific conclusion.
What could Gertrude want of the Count? But I always suspected that Gertrude. She is so merry and busy. Mr. Trueman thinks so highly of her, too. I'll tell him this. There's something wrong. But it all comes of giving a ball on a Friday. man will be when you find out how much I know.
Yet this imprudence. If I should fail to lack courage in a difficulty, or ingenuity in a dilemma, are not women's failings. Well, Zeke, Adolf.
That's right, Missy. I feel just now as if that was my legitimate title. This here's the stuff to make a Negro feel like a gentleman.
But is he coming?
He's coming. Do you hear that, Missy? Don't it put you all in a froth and make you feel light as a cork? It's nothing like the union brand to wake up the harmonies in the heart.
Zeke, remember, wait upon the outside. When I call you, come in quickly with the light. Now, will you be gone?
I'm off, Missy, like a champagne cork with the strings cut.
I think I hear the Count's step. Now, if I can but disguise my voice and make the best of my French.
Millinette, where are you? How am I to see you in the dark?
Hush, Papa.
Come here and give me a kiss.
No. Make haste, I must know all.
You did not used to be so particular.
Zeke. No admission, gentlemen. Box office closed, tickets stopped.
Out of my way. Do you want me to try with your head as hard as my stick?
Oh, what shall I do? Ruin.
Hello, Millinette. They're coming here. Millinette, why don't you speak? Where can I hide myself? Where are all your closets? Oh, if I could only get in somewhere or get out. Maybe smothered in a closed basket if you ever catch me in such a scrape again. Oh, fortune's favorite yet. I'm safe.
Here they are, the Count of Gertrude, I told you.
And do you see what a lie you're told?
Prudence, how dare you create this disturbance in my house? To suspect the Count, too, a nobleman.
My sweet Gertrude, this foolish...
Oh, you needn't talk.
I heard him make the point. Her making the point. He's here. Or he's been here. I shouldn't wonder she hid him away.
You're what I call confounded, meddlesome, prying old... Thunder and lightning.
I told you so. You, the depraved little minx. This is the meaning of your dancing with the Count.
I don't understand it. Millinette, not here? Miss Gertrude? Ah, I see, a disguise. The girl's desperate about me. Aware with them all.
Can't speak. Choking. Gertrude. This must be some horrible mistake. The villain. I'll hunt the truth out of him if there is any. And do you see this stick? You made his first acquaintance a few days ago. It's time you were better known to each other.
You ruffian! Would you strike a woman? Madam, keep off that barbarous old man, and I will explain. You, madam, with your natural goo, with your fashionable refinement, with your knowledge of foreign customs.
Oh, Count, I hope it ain't a foreign custom for the nobility to shut themselves up in the dark with young women. We think such things dreadful in America.
Madam, permit me to explain. You see, I am perfectly innocent in this whole affair. Really, I am. You see, I was summoned here, Mel Grimoire, and not knowing whom it was that I was to meet. Miss Gertrude, favor this company by saying whether or not you instructed that colored individual to conduct me here.
Sir, you well know.
A simple yes or no will suffice.
Answer the Count's question instantly, miss.
I did.
You here, madam.
I can't believe it. I won't. You there, stop rolling up your eyes and tell us whether you were directed to bring him here.
I refuse to give evidence. That's the advice of the skillfulest council's up to date. Can't answer, boss. Never get a word out of this child, yeah.
Mrs. Tiffany, Mr. Trueman, if you will but have patience.
Gertrude, you've taken from an old man something much greater and dearer than patience. The one bright hope of 19 years of self-denial. 19 years.
Get out of my house, you audacious, you rodent, you aggravating woman. You corrupt all my family. Good gracious, don't touch me. Don't come near me. Never let me see your face after tomorrow. Pack!
Gertrude, I was striven to find some excuse for you. To doubt, to disbelieve, but this is beyond all endurance.
I could not come before. What is the meaning of all this?
Hold your tongue, fool, you will ruin everything. Madam, my dear madam, permit me to conduct you back to the ballroom. You see, I am perfectly innocent in this whole affair. Really, I am. A man of my standing, you know, I couldn't possibly have. It's all his fault.
I will say one more to him, I will. Mr. Trueman, I beseech you, I insist upon being heard. I claim it as a right.
How dare you have the base girl to speak of rights? You have more rights than you thought for, but you forfeited them all. All rights to love, respect, protection, and little else that you don't dream of. Very well, I will set out for Augustus in the morning. I've seen enough of what fashion can do.
To your old man how he takes on. I will go console him.
This is too much. How heavy a penalty has my imprudence cost me. His esteem, and that of one Bratcher, my home. They are dancing, and I should be weeping if pride had not sealed up my tears. What shall I say? Prevaricate I cannot. And yet, if I write the truth, simple souls, how can they comprehend the motives for my conduct? Nay, the truly pure see no imaginary evil in others. It is only vice that, reflecting upon its own image, suspects even the innocent. But I have no time to lose. I must prepare them for my return. What a true pleasure there is in daring to be frank. Not so frank either. There is one name that I cannot mention. That he should suspect, should despise her.
There's the girl. Only her soul had been as pure as her face. If she dared to tell the truth, you shan't forget that. A woman who refuses to lie has a spark of heaven in her yet. Gertrude, what are you writing there? Plotting more mischief, eh, girl?
I was writing a few lines to some friends in Geneva.
The Wilsons, eh?
Are you acquainted with them, sir?
Shouldn't wonder if I was. Suppose you've taken good care not to mention the dark room or puppy in the closet and all that sort of thing.
I have no reason for concealment, sir, for I have done nothing of which I am ashamed.
And I can't say much for your modesty.
I should not wish you to say more than I deserve.
There's a bold minx.
Since my affairs seem to have excited your interest, I will not say curiosity. Perhaps you even feel the need to inspect my correspondence. There, I pride myself upon my good nature. You may like to take advantage of it.
What an air she carries off. Take advantage of it, so I will. What's this? Rhymes chambermaid. Count, impostor, infatuation, Seraphina, Millinette. Disguise myself, expose him. Thunder and lightning! I see it all. Come, kiss me, girl. No, girl. God, don't you remember that yet. She's a rare girl. I'm out of my senses with joy. I don't know what to do with myself. Toldy-roldy-rah.
What a remarkable old man. Then you do me justice, Mr. Trueman.
Justice? I should say not. You're above the law, all depends upon justice. Oh, hurrah, I found one true girl at last. True? I hadn't thought of that flaw. Lying and maneuvering, not much truth in that. An honest girl should be above stratagems.
But my motive, sir, was good.
That's not enough. Your actions must be good as well as your motives. Why can you not tell a silly girl that the Count was an impostor?
I did inform her of my suspicions. She ridiculed them. The plan I chose was an imprudent one, but I could not devise.
I hate devising. Give me a woman with the firmness to be frank. No matter, I had no right to look for an angel out of paradise. As for me, I am as happy as the Lord. That is 10 times happier than any Lord was. Tolly-rolly-rah! Oh, I'll thrash any man that says a word against you.
You will have plenty of employment then, sir. For I cannot think of one just now who would speak in my favor.
Oh, really? What about your dear Mr. Twinkle? Oh, I know all about it. Can't say I admire your choice in a husband, but there's no accounting for a girl's taste.
Mr. Twinkle? Indeed, you are quite mistaken.
Oh, you're not taken with him?
Not even with his rhyme.
Confound that old mother meddle much. What a fool she's made out of me. So you're free, and I may choose a husband for you myself. Heart full, eh?
I trust there is nothing unsound about my heart.
There it is again. Don't compare it with me, girl. I tell you, an invasion is a lie in contemplation, and I hate lying. Tell me the truth. Is your heart free or not?
Nay, sir, since you demand an answer, permit me to demand by what right you ask the question. Colonel Howard here?
I'm out again. What's the colonel to her?
I've come, Gertrude, to bid you farewell. For tomorrow I resign my commission and leave the city perhaps forever. It is you who have exiled me after last evening.
What the plague have you got to say about last evening? What have you got to say about last evening, and what have you got to say to this girl at all? It's Mr. Tiffany's fine daughter you're in love with.
Miss Tiffany? I've had the slaves for attention.
Oh, you're not... That lying old woman? Then whom do you mean to marry?
She's not married at all.
You don't mean to say that you don't like...
Mr. Trueman, I may have been wrong to boast of my good nature, but do not presume too far upon it.
You like frankness, Mr. Trueman, so I will speak plainly. I have long cherished a dream, from which last night I was rudely awakened.
And that's what you call speaking plainly? I'm different from you, but I think that's what you mean. Last night you accused Gertrude here of what no man will ever accuse her while I'm above ground. You did her injustice. It was a mistake. There, now that's settled. Go, ask her forgiveness. She's willing enough to do it. Go.
Most undoubtedly, you have forgotten to whom you dictate.
You won't ask for pardon? You won't do it?
Most undoubtedly, I will not at any man's bidding. I must first know.
You won't do it? Then if I don't give you a lesson in manners.
I will, if you find me your tutor in the same science. I am not a man to broken insult, and I surely will not quarrel in the presence of a lady.
Oh, we won't? I don't know that.
Pray, Mr. Trueman, Colonel Howard, pray desist, Mr. Trueman, for my sake. Colonel Howard, if you will read this letter, it will explain everything.
You don't deserve an explanation. Didn't I tell him it was a mistake? Refused to beg your pardon. I'll teach him.
Gertrude, how have I wronged you?
Oh, you'll ask her pardon now?
Her, sir, and yours.
Oh, you needn't. She'll forgive you. You know these women as well as I do. They're always willing to forgive. It's their nature and they can't help it. Come, I left Anthony and his wife in the drawing room. I have a story of my own to tell. As for you, Colonel, you may come as well.
Honor of their invaluable patronage is sufficient for the purpose employed.
Patronage is then the newly invented food upon which the working class is fattened. What convenient appetites these poor people must have. Now, listen to me. When my daughter marries Mr. Snobson...
Dear, such a misfortune, such disaster. Prudence, you are the most tiresome creature. What is the matter?
Oh, such a disgrace to the entire family. Oh, but I was told you what would happen. I was told you.
What are you talking about, Prudence? Will you tell me what's happened?
Oh, I can't. You'll feel so dreadfully.
Oh, precious, Prudence, what are you talking about? Tell me. Will you tell me? I shall get into such a passion. What's the matter?
Oh, Betsy, but your daughter could have done this.
Seraphina, what has she done? Where is she?
What has she done?
Oh, something dreadful, shocking.
Prudence, calm yourself and speak. You torture me by this delay. Prudence, be calm and speak.
Zeke just told me. He carried her trunk himself. She gave him $1. Oh, Oh my!
Her trunk? Where?
Round the corner.
What did you want with her trunk? Prudence, you are the most vexatious creature. There is no bearing to ridiculous conduct.
You what worse to bear? Seraphina's gone.
Gone? Where?
Oh, eloped with the count. But I always told you this would happen.
Then I'm ruined!
Oh, what a ridiculous girl. And she might have had such a splendid wedding. What could have possessed her?
The devil himself possessed her, for she has ruined me beyond all redemption. Gone, Prudence, are you sure she's gone?
Didn't I tell you? Look at this note. One might know by the very fold of it.
Let me see it. My dear Mom, when you receive this, I shall be a countess. Isn't it such a sweet title? The Count and I were forced to be married privately for reasons which I will explain in my next. You must pacify Pa, put him in a good humor before I come back. But now I'm to be a countess, I suppose I shouldn't care. Undutiful hussy! We are going to make an excursion, and we'll be back in a week. Your dutiful daughter, Seraphina. A man's curse is sure to spring out his own heart, and here is mine. The first downward step from honor. Once a man take it, he cannot stop in his madness, and is sure to be hurried unto ruin.
Why, how you take on, Mr. Tiffany. And I dare say that to elope was the most fashionable way after all.
Where are all the folks? Anthony, you're the one I knew, Zeke. We've been looking all over for you. There's a face for a thriving city merchant. Never had such a hang-off face as that when you trotted along with your pack on your back in the country. Burden, your shoulders are no broader now, but your burden's heavier, that's plain.
Mr. Trueman, such allusions are highly improper.
What did my daughter, the Countess, say? The Countess? Oh, madam.
Yes, the Countess. My daughter, Seraphina, the Countess, Jolimaitre. What do you have to say to that? No wonder you are surprised after your repartee of a May conduct. I have told you already, Miss Gertrude, that you are not a proper person to enjoy the inestimable advantages of my patronage. You are dismissed. Do you understand? Discharged.
Have you done? Well then, it's my turn. What I have to say, Antony, doesn't affect you as much as it do some others, but I want you to listen. You remember, Antony, a blue-eyed, smiling girl?
Your daughter, sir? I remember her well.
Never saw her to forget her. I never coveted wealth, yet 20 years ago I found myself the richest farmer in Cattaraugus. Cursed money made my daughter an object of speculation. Every idle fellow wanting to feather his nest was sure to come courting Ruth. But one chap, my heart misgave me the second I laid eyes on him. He was a city chap and not ever fond of the truth. Gertrude, she was too pure herself to look for any guile. She was his fine looks, his fine words, the old story. She was taken with him. I said no, but the girl liked her own way better than father's. Girls always do. Then one day, the villain robbed me. Not of my gold, he would have been welcome to that. But of the only thing I treasured, my daughter.
But you forgave her.
I did, for I knew that she would never forgive herself. That was punishment enough. Fool thought he was marrying my money with my daughter, but he was mistaken. Took care that they should never want, but that was all. She loved him. What will not woman love? He broke her heart. Mine was tougher, or would not have stood what it did. A year after they were married, he forsook her. She came back to her old house, her old father. Couldn't last. She pined, then she died. Don't think me a fool, though I am one, for grieving will not bring her back.
It was a heavy loss.
So heavy that I should not have cared how long it was till I followed her, for the child that she left. And as I held that child in my arms, I swore that the money would not be a curse for her as it cursed its mother. It was all I had to love, for I sent it away. The neighbors thought it was dead. The child was brought up humbly by my wife's friends in Geneva. She was taught true independence. She had capacities, had hands, and should use them. Money should never buy her a husband. and resolved never to claim her until she had found a man who would love her for herself. She turned out a rare girl. It's time that her old grandfather came to claim her. And there she is, old Adam's heiress. Gertrude, my child.
Do tell, I want to know.
But I knew it. I knew Gertrude would turn out to be someone.
Dear me. Gertrude, an heiress. My dear Gertrude. I always thought you were a very charming creature. Heiress, why do you make? I must give her a ball. I'll introduce her into society myself. Of course, an heiress must make a sensation.
I'm too bewildered to even wish her joy. There will be plenty of time to do that now. But the gulf between us is wider than ever.
Step forward, young man, and tell us what you are murmuring about. I told you I would never claim her until she had found a man who loved her for herself. And I have claimed her, yet I never tell a lie. I believe I have found that man. Here he is. There, Gertrude's yours. No, don't bore me with your thanks. Thanks all obligations by making this child happy. There, Gertrude, what do you say?
That I rejoice too much at having found a parent for my first act to be one of disobedience.
How very dutiful. How disinterested.
Oh, Mr. Trueman. All the single folks are getting married.
That's not true. You and I are single, but we're not likely to get married.
My dear Mr. Trueman, my sweet Gertrude, my daughter the Countess returns. She'll be delighted to hear of this denouement. I assure you, the Countess will be quite charmed.
The Countess? Pray, madam, where is Seraphina?
The Countess Jolimaitre, my dear, is at this moment on her way to Washington, where after visiting all the fashionable curiosities of the day, she will return to grace her native city.
You are only jesting, madam. Seraphina is not married.
Excuse me, my dear. My daughter had this morning the honor of being united to the Count Jolimaitre.
Madam, he is an impostor.
Gertrude, how can you talk in that disrespectful way to a man of rank? An heiress, my dear, should have better manners. The Count...
Mrs. Tiffany, you needn't try to come over me, sir. You ought to get up a good deal earlier in the morning to do that, sir. I'd like to know, sir, how you came in insisting your daughter was running off with that foreign loafer. It was a downright swindle, sir, and after the conversation you and I had on the subject, she wasn't your property.
What actually, is this the way your city clerk bullies his boss?
You're drunk, Catter, August. Don't expose yourself. You're drunk. Taking a little too much toddy, my old boy. Be quiet. I'll take care of you and they won't find out about it. If you want to keep busy, you can take care of my head. I feel so weak and just don't think I could pick up that. Now to put the screws to Tiff. Miss Tiffany, you have broken your word as no virtuous individual, as no honorable member of...
Mr. Snobson, I implore you, besides, I had nothing to do with my daughter's elopement. I shall do anything you ask. Your salary shall be doubled, trebled.
No, you don't. No bribery and corruption.
Mr. Snobson, I beseech you. You shall become a partner in the concern if you wish. You are not yourself at the moment.
And I know, I feel twice myself. I feel like two Snobsons rolled into one and chock full of the spunk of a dozen. Mr. Tiffany, sir.
Mr. Snobson, if you have one spark of manly feeling.
Why do you stand here disputing with this drunken idiot? Why don't you call your servant and have him turn him out and be of use for once in his life? This ain't your hash cutter, so keep your spoon out of it. You're drunk. Turn him out, Anthony. He daren't do it. And I up to him, and I got him in my power. Can I knock him into a hat with a cocked hat with a word? Now he's got my steam up. I will do it.
Mr. Snobson, my friend.
It's no go. Steam's up and I won't stand in anything. You won't stand here long if you don't remember your manners. You're not the first man upset because he didn't know his place. I know what Chip's place is, and that's in the state's prison. It's bespoke already. He would have it. He wouldn't pattern himself after me and behave like a gentleman. He's a forger, sir. He's been forging Dick Anderson's endorsements of his notes these 6 months. He's got a couple of the banks that'll send him to the wall anyway if he can't make the raise. I took them there myself.
I came back to get the jewels. The Count said the nobility can't get on without them.
Seraphina, my child, would you see me disgraced, ruined? I have been a kind father to you. At least I have tried to be, except your mother's madness has made a madman out of me. You seem to like him. Heaven forgive me. Marry him and save me. Mr. Trueman, you will advance the sum I require. I pledge myself to return it. My wife and daughter, who shall take care of them where the thought makes me frantic. You had a child once.
Yes, but I did not sell her. It was her own doing. Shame on you for putting a price on your own flesh and blood. Shame on such foul traffic.
Mr. Trueman, for my father's sake.
For your father's son's sake, I will not assist you in becoming a greater villain than you already are.
Mr. Trueman, father, I should say, help him. Do not embitter our happiness.
I did not need your voice. I will settle this in my own manner. Today, where's the fire? If I understand right, you have been for some time aware of your principal's forgeries. You hit the nail carrier on his thought I was onto him 4 months ago, left off throwing dust in my eye. Oh, you did? I had no bones of forging Anderson's name at my elbow. Forged at your elbow? You saw him do it? I did. Repeatedly? Repeatedly. Then you, rattlesnake, if he goes to prison, you'll take up your quarters there too. You're an accomplice, an accessory. So I am. I didn't think of that. I must make myself scarce. Tiff, I say Tiff. That drunken old grip has got us in his power. Let's be up and give him the slip. They need men of genius in California. We're sure to get on. You can set up as a writing master in Zeke's forging signatures. And I can lectures on temperance. You won't come, will you? And I'm off without you. Goodbye, Cattaraugus. This is the way to California. There's one day your city owes me. Now let's see what other nuisances you do. And see, I'm not given to preaching, so I will not say much about what you've done. Your faith speaks for itself. Time has brought its own time.
Indeed it has, sir. In 1 year I have lived a century of guilt.
I believe you, and upon one condition, I will assist you.
My first ever kind friend, only name it.
Sell your house and all these gewgaws and bundle off your wife and child to the country. There let them learn independence, true economy, instead of these foreign follies. As for you, you may continue your business, but in the future let moderation be your counselor and honesty be your confidential clerk.
Mr. Trueman, you have made existence once more precious to me. My wife and daughter shall quit the county tomorrow.
It's all coming right. It's all coming right. We'll go to the county of Cattaraugus.
No, we won't. I make that one stipulation. Steer clear of Cattaraugus, none of your fashionable examples there.
What candy taints Seraphina? We ought to be off.
Gusto, not yet, Gusto. No, I haven't. I mean, never brought no horse. Oh, don't frown, Gusto. Don't frown.
Come forward, Mr. Count, and for the edification of fashionable society, declare that you are an impostor.
Why, you abominable old...
Oh, your feminine friend has told us all about it. The barber, the valet, all that sort of thing. Come, confess, and something may be done for you.
Well, I do confess, I am no count. But really, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the most capital cook.
Promise me to call upon your entire circle of fashionable acquaintances in the morning and in your cook's attire, and I'll set you up in business tomorrow. Better turn stomachs than you turn heads.
But will you marry me?
Give us your hand, Millinette. Sir, command me for the daintiest croquette à la royale, the most transcendent omelette soufflé, the most delicate pâté that ever issued from a French pastry cook's oven. I hope you will pardon my conduct, but I heard that in America, where you pay homage to titles while you profess to scorn them, where fashion makes the basest coin current, where you have no kings, no princes, no nobility, or...
I object to your use of that word. When truth is found only among lawyers, health among doctors, and patriotism among politicians, then you may say there is no nobility without no titles. But we have kings, princes, virgin ladies, nature stands, not fashion. We have men, strong and brave. We have women, gentle-hearted and true, to whom no title could add nobility.
I told you so, and now you hear and see. I told you fashion would the fashion be.
And both its point and moral I distrust.
Sir, is that liberal?
Or is it just? The guilty have escaped.
Is therefore sin made charming? Ah, there's punishment within. Guilt ever carries its own scourge along.
Virtue her own reward.
You're right, I'm wrong.
How we have been deceived.
I told you so.
Lose at once a title and a foe.
A count, no more. I'm no more of a count.
But to a nobler title you may mount, and be in time, who knows, an honest man.
Hey, Millinette?
Oh, oui, I know you can.
But ere we close this scene, a word with you. We charge you answer. Is this picture true? Some little mercy to our efforts show. Then let the world your honest verdict know. Here let it see portrayed its ruling passion, and learn to prize at its just value, fashion.